Hello friends, I'm Brian, and this is a Gizmo Board Games Top 10. Today I am halfway through the year or so, and I am taking a look at my top 10 new to me games that I played so far in 2023. I'm sure you got that from the title already, and that's why you're here, so I'm glad to have you. If you are one of my normal viewers, you know that every month I've been counting down all the new to me games I play in each month, and this is kind of the compilation of the first 6 months of new to me games, and I look at my 10 favorites so far. Some of these might be in different order than the previous months. I haven't gone back and looked at where they stood then when I did those videos. Some of them I played again. Some of them I haven't touched since that month. Maybe I don't own the game. Maybe I just haven't touched it because I've been playing new games, whatever the case is. So things are liable to slide one way or the other potentially. The way I did this list, unlike the normal months, I just look at what I played and kind of put them in the order the way I feel the day I record the video and call it that. For this list, I put all 54, yes, 54 new to me games from 2023 so far. That's what, 9 a month on average? 9 a month on average, yep. I put all those into Pub Meeple. If you haven't checked that out, it's a cool little program that does a bunch of rankings where it just pairs A versus B, and you pick which one you like better, and it just does that over and over again until it spits you out a list. And then you can kind of maneuver things up and down as you like. I didn't do that in this case. I took what Pub Meeple gave me, and that's what you're getting. So 54 new to me games, still down to 10 at this point, the top 10 as we're halfway through the year. I will do this again at the end of the year with every new to me game I play in 2023. But for now, let's sneak peek at the games I really enjoyed so far this year that I had not played before 2023. And again, this might cater more towards recency and things I've played more in general just because they're fresher on my mind, but that might not always be the case. Given a quick look over, I know there's a game or two that I probably should play again before the end of the year because they might climb up a little bit higher on the list than where they stand now. Looking at my list, I'm speaking specifically of Gizmos and Endless Winter Paleo Americans, games I haven't played in a few months, and I remember enjoying them, but not as much as these games that will make up the 10. So we'll call those two honorable mentions. Basically, they're games that just didn't end up in my top 10, mostly probably because I haven't touched them in a while, but enjoyed them at the time, and they probably finished 1 or 2-ish in their months. Again, I didn't previously go back and look at my prior lists to see. Maybe I'm way off. But off the top of my head, just glancing at the list, those are two that might climb up by the end of the year if I get them played again. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at my number 10 favorite new to me game in 2023 at the halfway point. My number 10 is a solo only game from Garphill Games. It was my most anticipated game of the year coming into the year, and it's Legacy of You. I really enjoy this game. It's a campaign game. I have not yet finished the campaign, so it might fall down after the campaign's completed, and I'm like, well, I've already played it through. But right now, I still got at least a few more games to play. It's a combination of worker placement, card management, resource management, where you're trying to just help build the dams and keep your village from flooding. You're trying to beat the flood and beat off the barbarians before they take over or you get flooded out. Like most similar style games, a lot of solo games, multiple ways to lose, one way to win, and that's just managing your resources, your actions, your turns, and everything to the best of your ability. And along the way, there are a bunch of story points you're going to meet that will make every game slightly different. So my playthrough is going to be way different than your playthrough, just based on how the things come out, how the cards are shuffled, how the story points are met, and at the end of each time, whether you win or lose, and how you win or lose will set up your next game. If you won, it'll make your future games harder. If you lose, it'll make your future games easier. So I just really enjoy everything that they built in this solo legacy campaign game, The Legacy of You. My number 9 favorite new to me game in 2023 at the halfway point is an old game, possibly the oldest game I've ever played. Maybe not, I don't know. It's Cribbage. It's a game where you're just playing against one or two other people or teams, and you're just playing with the normal deck of cards and trying to be the first one to get the most points by completing cribs of 15 and 31 points and various other things. It's hard. It's a hard game to explain, but not a hard game to pick up, at least if you're familiar with card games and math. So I just really enjoyed Cribbage. It was fun to finally learn it, and yeah, it's just a good game. You can play it literally anywhere with a sheet of paper and a deck of cards, even if you don't have a Cribbage board, as long as you know the rules and how to play. And so, yeah, I'm glad to have learned it. It plays nice, quick, easy, and just a lot of fun for a deck of card game. So I'm glad to, I'm repeating myself a lot. Cribbage, check it out if you haven't already. It's an old classic. My number 8 favorite new to me game so far in 2023 is a game called Distilled, where you are distilling alcohols and collecting resources, and it's a little bit of a deck builder in a way, but not really, because you're building a deck for each round, and then you're using those to make your wines, your spirits, not wines, to make your spirits and try to collect new recipes, new ingredients, new upgrades to your distillery, and racing to achieve victory conditions that'll change from game to game. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. There's 2 phases. The build and buy phase, I guess, where you're building up your upgrades and buying your ingredients to use, and then you're shuffling them all. And the cool mechanic in this game is you're going to take off the top card and the bottom card of your spirit you're trying to distill, and you set those aside. You don't even get them in your distillation, but you get to keep them for future rounds, so it's not a complete loss. And then you see what you made. So it's got that neat little twist in that you're not going to necessarily make what you thought you were unless you really stack your one deck. In addition to that, you can make things to sell off right away. Just buy it and sell it and get the money. Or you can put it in a cask and let it age and get better and better and become more valuable for points and money. But then you're going kind of empty-handed that round because you can only make one sale in a round. But anyway, you're aging it. You're adding flavor cards to it. They could be good flavors or bad flavors. A little bit of humor in the game as they snuck in some bad flavors. Everyone's got their own special distiller. A little bit of variable player powers going on. And it's just a lot of fun. A game I need to play again, really. I haven't touched this one in a couple months, but really enjoyable little kind of deck builder-esque resource management, card management type of game. Just a lot of fun. A good variability. While we're on the topic of alcohol, let's go to my number 7, Vinhos, a game by Vital Lacerda. Might be the heaviest game I've played. It's a game where you've got a lot of limited actions, but you're trying to build up vineyards and make wine to sell for points or money. You're submitting them to a fair at the end of every so many rounds, up to 3 different wine fairs where you're trying to appease the judges. And the more you appease the judges, the more barrels you're going to earn. The barrels let you collect more points and money as you play. It's a very tight game. There's only 9 action spots with 8 different actions because 2 of the spots repeat. It's a slightly complex game. Not hard to pick up once you kind of get into it, but there are a lot of nuances and a lot of thinking you're going to have to do to plan things out because you're only going to get, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 actions in the whole game, I believe, on top of the 3 fair rounds, I think they're called. It's just, it's a great little thinky, very heavy Euro game from Vital Lacerda, who's known for thinky, heavy Euro games. It's the first one of his I've played. I've only played it solo so far. I don't know who I have to introduce it to yet. I'm sure somebody at some point will play it, but for now, the solo game is fine. You'll hear more about that coming up in a future video, I'm sure. I really like the theme of it. I like wine. I drink wine, so the theme works, and the play makes sense to me in what you're doing. So it made it easy for me to kind of get into, and I like it. I like having the little thinker, heavy game for me to play. Number 6 new to me game 2023 so far at the halfway point is a game called Architects of the West Kingdom. Another Garphill game, new to me and pretty high on the list considering I played 54 new games and they're 2 of the top 10 for me so far. But Architects of the West Kingdom is one of the classic worker placement games where you're placing workers down, and the more workers you have on a spot, the more you're going to get from that spot every time you place a new worker there. But there's a twist. There's a spot you can go to, or anybody can go to, and round up all the workers of a color or a couple colors from a spot on the board. And thus you could think you were about to get 5 resources and somebody could pick up all your people and send them to jail, and now you got to start over at that space. So that's a neat little twist on worker placement, and that the only way to get your workers back is to get them into jail and then get them out of jail. So I like it. It's fun. It's neat. You're ultimately just collecting resources like a standard worker placement to build buildings because you're architects in the West Kingdom. And I have all the expansions, so there are monuments and other such that you can build as you play too. And yeah, the bulk of the game is just trying to better help build the kingdom. While also trying to round up other people and managing your resources, managing your time of when you're taking certain actions and how long you're going to let people get better and better, stronger actions on a spot. I just really enjoy it. It's not too hard, not too complex, just the right balance, I think. It's a great worker placement game. That's Architects of the West Kingdom. Number 5 new to me game at the halfway point of 2023 is Porta Nigra. I really like this game. It's a action selection game where you've got 2 cards in your hand, I think, and you're just going to play one each round until everybody runs out of cards, and then you do it again once or twice more around the table. But what you're doing is you're just going around kind of a rondel on the board, and there are 4 sectors where you can help build up the various parts of Porta Nigra, the ancient Roman town here right up the road in Germany. And so you're just collecting resources, collecting bits of the wall, I guess, in a way. And then as you take the actions, you're going to put them down in various spots and put your worker Roman guys on them to collect the points from it, and whoever helps build Porta Nigra best at the end of the game wins. Kind of simplifying it, but it's not really that complex of a game either. Just managing actions from a selection of action cards. You're only going to take so many of the actions on the card. They're limited. I think could be up to 4 different actions on a card, of which you could take 2 or 3. So you're not even getting every action on every card. So just a good thinking of what you want to do with each round, and then kind of hoping the actions you want are coming up soon in your deck in some way, shape, or form. And you just collecting the building resources and then building out the city. Nothing too major. There's a little bit of set collection and other things in it as well. It's a nice, well-rounded Euro game that I really hadn't heard a whole lot about. Looking into it, I saw it was a game about Porta Nigra, which I've been to and thought it'd be a cool souvenir. Looked into it and thought it'd be like a decent game and played it and really enjoyed it. So check it out if you can. I recommend it. My number 4 new to me game at the halfway point of 2023 is a little obsession of everyone these days. Even though it didn't come out recently, I thought it did. Obsession itself is a Victorian style game where, again, you're taking action selection based on what you've got in your estate. Everybody starts with the same 4 actions, but then you can buy more and add them to it, and that's how you're going to collect points. And you've got goal cards, so maybe you want to collect sports things over entertainment things, or vice versa. You need to use your guests in order to take actions. You got to have the right workers and the right guests, and then the combo of all those things are going to get you more points or more money or more whatever the case is to help build future actions, reputation. You need to have certain reputation value. You got to have female or male guests for certain events, different kind of workers, butlers and maids, etc. So there's a lot of little bits of nuances to what would otherwise be a just standard worker placement, tile placement game. But the combo and the thinkiness that goes into making sure you've got everything you need to take the actions you want, you kind of got to pre-plan a little bit, and your workers rest after they help you out. So eventually you're just going to have to take basically a pass action to get your workers back from the resting. So it's a lot of fun. I only played this one time on Board Game Arena, but I look forward to playing it again. I really enjoyed Obsession, and I just want to play it again. So I can probably better explain it even. But hopefully that was good enough description, and I just really enjoyed it, and you should check it out. I should check it out again. The number 3 new to me game from June 2023 is another old classic called Troyes, or Troyes, or I don't know, it's French. I'm bad at other languages. I'm not even good at English. If you've followed along, you probably know that already. But Troyes is just a tight action management, but this time you're managing dice. It's the same pool of dice, but based on where your workers are in the city, you got different dice that are yours to use versus ones that you might have to pay for. So every single die is at play in the game, but you might have to spend money to take it from somebody else's section. Each die's got its own action abilities. Each area has a color code, so the dice colors and the card combos. I'm explaining this very poorly, but basically it's dice worker placement in a way, and the more valuable your dice are, and the spots that you're able to use as your actions will value from having higher dice count. But in order to have higher dice, you might need to spend money to take some dice from your opponents, giving them more money for their turns later. So it's just a neat little game of dice action management. Not cooperative, but there's got to be some teamwork involved, because bad events are going to come out that might affect you more than others. They might affect others more than you. So you may or may not want to help get rid of those events sooner than later. It's a neat little Euro game that I have really enjoyed playing it. I've played it 2 or 3 times now, and a lot of fun. Troyes. All right, my number 2 new to me game from 2023 is also probably my most played game in 2023. Just a great game. People were raving about it before I got my hands on it. I think just came back into stock, so you should be able to find it easier than I did. I had to order mine from Norway or one of those Scandinavian countries and get it shipped to me. But it's Heat Pedal to the Metal. You might be able to see it right below me there. Just card deck building racing game that really feels like you're live racing. It's got a great Atoma mode, so you can always race with 6 cards, whether it's 1 player or, 6 wouldn't need the Atoma deck, but 1 to 6 players can play. I think they're already planning to add more because there's a spot in the box for 2 more cars. So I imagine at some point 2 more cars might come to make it play to 8. It's got so much variability. You can play it standard. You can add all kinds of upgrades. You can play a tournament mode. Yeah, we've played this so many times. We all just enjoy it. It's great kind of push your luck deck builder, deck management. Really, I guess you're not really building the deck. You're managing the deck you have. But yeah, action selection in a way, and just everything about it. Just it works. It feels like a race game. It feels like a race, and it's not super unforgiving. There are moments where you could be out of the race, but the game doesn't even last that long. That fire it up again next time and learn from your mistakes. Just a great all around fun game that we've really enjoyed playing. Yeah, it's heat, pedal to the metal. It's all the craze of late for a 1 to 6 player racing game. It sings. But one game stood out to me more. It's an old classic that I've been trying to get my hands on. At some point, I want to own. It's Puerto Rico. Just a game where everybody's going to select one action, and then everybody's going to take that action, but the person who selected gets the bonus action. You're trying to tile build on your tableau and collect points and resources, and just it's everything I like in a good thinky game. Your action management, you've got to plan things out ahead. You're trying to generate the resources and then use them at the right time in the right place. And you can thwart other people by making them use their resources when maybe they might have been saving up for something. You're racing to certain actions potentially. It really sang to me, and I just look forward to playing it again. I liked everything about Puerto Rico. Just one of those games that I really enjoyed. I've only played it the one time, borrowing it from the library, and I think we all had a good time with it, managing resources, managing what we were buying and how we were using things, and kind of getting in each other's way from times. I like any game where you've got minimal actions and you know what those actions are, but you don't know when they're going to happen. And the nature of this game is the one at a time action selection with the bonus for the person who picks it. But everybody gets to take the action, means you're always going to get the action you want, whether somebody else took it or not, but you might not get the bonus that goes with it. So it's just all about timing and planning and being able to adapt when somebody else thwarts your plans. So I just really liked it. It's a game that really stood out to me as another game I want to just play again and again. So there you have it. Those are the 10 new to me games that I enjoyed the most thus far in 2023. Again, I played 54 new games, and these were the 10 that stood out the most in the order of my favorites. If you like this list, give me a thumbs up. Comment below what you thought about my list. What did I play previous in the year that you thought would show up that I might have just overlooked, even though Pub Meeple spat out things and that's how I ordered them. What other games based on especially my top 3 or 4 do you think I should check out that I might not have checked out already? Let me know in the comments below. And subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you on the next time. Bye.